What's up, YouTube? What's up? Welcome back to my channel. So yeah, I'm just doing this spontaneous live. I didn't plan this. Similar to some of the other lives that I've done in the past. With one of my good friends, Buka. We just decided to start chatting. So hopefully you guys come along for the ride and like what we got to say. Um, we're going to talk about family, black issues, and religion. And here we go. I'm gonna bring it more.
Hey Jeffrey.
Hey, what's up,
Hey,
man?
hey, thank you for inviting me to your lives. Let's see if we can get some work done today.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's always
so
good to.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
so
said it's
I know we was talking about a whole smorgasbord of things, and yeah, you can start it off with what you want to what you feel that you're comfortable talking about.
so so we got on today because we're gonna do a live in a few days concerning religion in the black what do you call it, black hemisphere,
Diaspora,
diaspora, right?
yeah, diaspora,
Yeah.
diaspora.
And then we started talking about some of the issues that we're having as a black community here in America. And then I know later on we end up talking about Baltimore directly. So I was hoping we could just recap that, and maybe let's just start with the Islam, right? Because basically what I was saying in the beginning was that there is a huge baby mama culture in Islam. Um, Maybe it's because now I'm older, so I am attracting women from all over, the world, all the walks of paths. Especially when they see me on places like TikTok, YouTube, and whatnot. They see a strong man that's speaking very firm, and they can relate to me because I am Nigerian, also African. Especially with the Arab world, the Arabic slash Islam. A lot of those people, I would say they're like 75. They practice 75% of African concepts. So when they're talking to me, I can follow them, and they understand what I'm saying too. Well, specifically with this, I wanted to talk about, like I said, I've met a lot of baby mamas in the Islam world, or who are they read the Quran, they speak Arabic and whatnot, and I want and it's not as uncommon as people think, because I think that in America we sit here and we're thinking that, oh, they're ladies, they listen, they do everything XYZ that their husband wants. However, I think that nowhere in the world are you ever gonna find a lady who's gonna be so-called fully submissive and listens to every word that her husband says. If you do, that's not a woman. That um and that's not a bash to a lady. It's just the nature of a lady. Um and so how how do you want us to go with this? I could retell that one story I was telling you about. For example, the lady I have in mind, and I've talked to lots of ladies like this now, who are Muslim, who do have children, who are looking for their husband, for a new husband, and I've come to ask them, so why did you leave your husband? What's the problem? They have the same issues and the same talking points as our American women have when it comes to leaving their man. Maybe he was unfaithful and whatnot. Well, then once they say something like that, then I say, hey, I thought in the Quran, right? That is the book you read. Um, your man, your husband, can have more than one wife, correct? But no, that's not acceptable for them. But it's not haram. However, remember, the reason why I say it's not haram or it's not acceptable, I'm making this point, is that any other thing that you talk about with a lady of that caliber and nature, they will say it's haram. Haram meaning like it is forbidden. For example, a woman of Muslim origin or nature cannot show. She's not allowed to show you her hair. She's not allowed to show you her body. She is not allowed to talk about explicit things. There are certain ways she moves, and But when I've talked to some of these girls and I've tried to see like the differences in our cultures and whatnot that I'm usually used to, I've come to realize that they do the same thing that our Christian women in the Western countries, Western mentalities do. I'm not saying all Muslim women, but I'm saying that there is a large population of Muslim women who behave this way, who move like Western women, and they who sing the Cardi B's. They definitely sing those Cardi B songs. They're like, for example, I need a big boy, I need a big boy, or you know that song, right, Jeffrey? Um,
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, so they do the same thing, as in what they find fit or what fits their purpose or whatever it is or however they want to live their life and move, they'll use it. And when they don't find fit, they'll ignore it. So yeah, in their culture, their man is allowed and entitled almost to take on another wife if he's able to take care of her. And so for her to leave, or for any Muslim woman to leave her man because he has a girlfriend, that's actually haram. Um, like how we have here in the Western world, where when you get married, it's supposed to be for sickness and whatever, right? But we don't even get to the sickness part. They don't even wait till he coughs. We don't even get past the first cough before a lady in the Western world, in the Christian world, is ready to leave and divorce her man. Like we just had, his name's not Christian Ronaldo. It's the guy Hakima, right? Where his wife just left him,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and she was trying to take 50, but then the reason why it blew up is because all of his properties is his mom's name, right? Anyways, so yeah, so then when you start talking to some of these ladies who do have children, and so, by the way, some of these ladies that I've talked to later on, I found out that these women, the two of them, were still married to their husband. I had no idea, and I didn't know they even had kids. I will say though that that's a testament to their lifestyle. We Ramadan has been going on or just finished over these last or just wrapped up these last few weeks now, and so I was fasting. By the way, I'm not a Muslim. However, I did follow along and practice that, and I was fasting for this last month here, and we're just basically wrapping up here, having our little celebratory dinners and whatnot, and it kind of actually aligns up with Lent and whatnot for the Catholics and the Christians. Anyways, for the coming of Jesus and whatnot for the Christians.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I'm sorry. I guess I'm having a little bit of heartburn. I've been drinking like lemon water, trying to
That should
slim
help.
myself down.
That should
Huh?
help. I said that should
Yeah,
help.
it should help. So yeah, so I didn't even know these ladies. Some of these ladies were married with kids because they looked like they were in their early 20s. They look like they've never had children before.
Uh,
They're. I'm not saying all Muslims aren't big or whatever. But I'm saying these women were very beautiful. They didn't even age. And with the Muslim world, a lot of them, there are many, many white ones, but a lot of them, their great grandfather was black. So black don't crack, right? So and they even the white ones have more of like so-called an olive skin tone. So just a very nice glow, strong. It's not like a tan, but yeah. So I had no idea some of these girls are actually married. And so when I found out, I was like, "Whoa, you're still married?" These are concepts that from America sitting in the borders, and these are women who are in Arabic countries, Muslim countries. We're talking about places like Nigeria is actually 50-50, and I'm also Nigerian. What Pakistan, right? Even Kazakhstan, all the stans. From Jordan, from yeah. So these are ladies who are actually in those countries. So it's not like as late Muslim women who grew up in America over the last 20 years. These are girls that are literally either were fresh off the boat and I met them, or they're still living there and they've contacted me through avenues such as like TikTok Messenger. And these are ladies who are acting and moving this way. And so, anyways, so the ones I really got the chance to get close to and compare and really talk and build a relationship with, I'm going to use one as a specific example. This lady had children, and I asked her, "Hey, why did you leave your husband?" She says, "Oh, because he was unfaithful. He was with another woman." I'm like, but isn't he allowed to, have another woman? that that's haram for her. But that's not actually haram. He has the right. And actually the lady's not even in the life anymore. So I told her, hey, because like I said earlier, I'm African, so we have the same sort of concepts and ideologies. So I said, you're the first wife, you're the one losing. You can't leave your house for a new woman. You were there with him through all of the hardships. You were there with him when he literally had nothing or whatever he had. Now he has more, and it's really because of you, or you've been there in the journey longer than this new girl. And now the lady's not even in the pictures, and the man is the husband still wants her back. And at this point, it's like, why don't you go back? He says he loves you, he wants you. Why are you entertaining men like me? And I told her sternly, there is no man in this world who truly loves and wants the best for your children like the father of your kids. The father of your kid could even be the most useless man in the world. I'm telling you, there's ideally he is the one who will want them to be the best that they can. Especially since you have sons for him. So she should go back, but she's not interested. She's not interested. She she's using the Quran and the culture that whatever suits her best. Like for example, in our Christian beliefs, right? They love saying stuff about the man's the provider, this, that, but they don't want to say that you're supposed to bow down to your man. They don't want to say that you are to help me, you know. But they'll quote every other part of the Bible to suit whatever it is or lifestyle they're trying to live with you. They and then not just that, they want to find a man that's better than them, taller, stronger, richer, to then be in that relationship or marriage with all his resources, and then tell him that he's not better and he needs to listen to you. You want to find somebody that's better than you and then come here and lecture them. And so that's the same thing I've actually experienced with communicating with Muslim women, because it's like, wait, you have kids, you're saying this is haram, that's haram, the other one's haram. I understand, but lady, there is nothing that you have or have experienced that is cannot be unique to me and you. You can't say that just you and I have kids. You can't say that only I've seen your hair. You can't say this or that. Yet you're trying to repackage yourself as if you were a 20-year-old virgin Muslim woman, and that's the same issues that we're having here in America. Um, anyways, moving on from that, because I do want to touch on the point of that issue that happened in Baltimore.
But
Um,
what
yes,
you're saying, I think that has to do with the Western influence on even the Muslim world, because those are not traditional um, thinkings of
yeah,
the.
I definitely agree, and I definitely agree. I'm happy you said Western, because even with the Catholic Church, they the Catholics are supposed to be the extremes of the Christian world. So the Catholics would behave like the extremes of the Muslim world, because in the Catholics, the the Catholic women I was raised around had 10, 12 kids, was spanking us. They were praying the rosary 3 times a day, just how a Muslim woman prays 5 times a day. They were praying the rosary, being enacting in Palm Sunday and whatnot and whatnot. They would have the palms hanging in their car, and then and the cross in their house, carrying a Bible. Now it's moved because of the Western world has adapted it so much into something else that is more so personal benefit than it is universal. Because with religion, it's really to keep us civilized and help us as a whole, and not a so-called personal thing. The personal thing that you're supposed to get out of it is that if you do behave well for the greater good, that you personally will get to heaven. That's really what it is. Um, but now it's more so, what can I gain? And now you're right. That West.
Hold on.
He said,
You
okay,
have
I'm back. Sorry, I had a call. I hung up. The reason why I got into, or what I'm interested in, I am entertaining women from that have Muslim origins or are or legit or Muslims, is because I'm actually interested in taking more than one wife. In fact, I want officially two wives. I don't even have one wife or a good prospect, but at the end of the day, I want two women, and it's not because of anything that is inappropriate, sexual, whatnot. It is that I've never met a lady who was consistent, and not to be bigoted or is bigot the right word or weird. It's just that it maybe is not even in the nature, because we know that once 1 week out of a month, a lady's gonna be a little different. So whenever it is that a girl is no longer happy or wants to be around you or whatever the case is, then I'll go to my second wife. And we all know that when you put so much attention and love and da 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 into a girl, one, they get bored, two, you overwhelm them, and then three, they want to see other people. So now, personally, me, I know I am a lot to handle. I know my personality, I'm overwhelming. So yeah, I just need two women that I can split it so I don't overwhelm either two. And also as a community, because if I'm an engineer, ideally, even if she just works at 7-Eleven and the other girl works at Piggly Wiggly, that's three incomes in a household. And that's more hands-on to try to raise our children. Hey Jeffrey, this neighborhood I'm crossing here, this is a network break games in a second, but if you give it 30 seconds, I'll be fine, okay?
Okay, okay. You said there'd be some interruption.
Hear me? Yeah, just slow interruption in about 15 seconds.
Okay.
But we move on now. Multiple situations. Maybe
Hold on.
you
Hold
can
on
start
to that.
the
You're
Baltimore
breaking up.
situation.
Yeah, hold on that because you're breaking up. Um, but yeah, like what he was saying. Yeah,
I'm
like what he.
almost.
Okay, yeah, like what he was saying. I didn't know that. When you look at well, it's all about being exposure. When it comes to dealing with certain people and certain things, whether it's dating or trying to make friends with certain things or certain people from different groups that have different perspective. That can determine how you have an outlook on things. But overall, based on what he's saying to me, that shows that these women are these Muslim women are being influenced by the Western world greatly. Because you also mentioned to me that some of these women they were from the Middle East themselves. They weren't just born in the U.S. Correct?
Yeah, they were from Middle Eastern countries. They were from Asian.
Oh, okay, yeah, he's we lost him. But yeah, we have an array of things that we're going to be talking about more. He's having some technical difficulties right now, but yeah, it was very interesting to hear what he was telling me about some of the Muslim women that he interacted with. Okay, yeah, he's back on, so let's put him back.
Yeah, I
Okay,
should be fine. I should be fine now. Yeah, so they were from Middle Eastern countries. They were from African countries. They're from Asian Muslim countries. For example, Kazakhstan, right? Kazakhstan is a country that speaks its native language, which is Kazakhstani. I think that's how they say it, right? Kazakh, excuse me. I don't know why I say Kazakhstani. And then they speak Russian. However, the country is predominantly Muslim, and they don't speak Arabic. They only speak Arabic when they practice the religion. They can't have a casual conversation and say, "Hey, can you give me the non-pork, double cheeseburger?" They can't have that conversation. They only have prayer in it, if that makes sense. You know. However, even though I said Kazakh, I said Russian, I said Arabic, I didn't say English, and still Cardi B and people like that are still infiltrating their country, and their ideology. And so
mhm.
here we have thousands of miles away from the US, a lady, or more than one lady, because I'm deep in those streets. The women are beautiful and they're sweet. They're so sweet. I do want to talk about that actually a little bit. Yeah, this lady just has chosen to be single, and this man is saying, "I love you. I'm sorry. Let's fix our relationship," and she just won't take him back. She'd rather struggle. And I've told her, look, either you fix the relationship now or later on, your kids might end up resenting you because your ex husband is really trying to be with you, and they're gonna figure out that, oh, one day they're gonna start asking questions like, why is dad not here? You know. And I'm sorry, having more than one, I mean, having a girlfriend or whatever is not haram. That's not haram. That's not the equivalent of you showing your hair or popping your booty on YouTube, or whatever. It's not. That is very much acceptable if you can handle both of them. If you can afford and take care of both of you, and then at the end of the day, she's not even a picture anymore, and that's been years ago. So go ahead and fix that relationship before your kids get too old. They need their father in the picture. And I've had this very, like, the way I'm talking, I've talked to her just like that. And so now, stemming from there, I do want to talk about the personality and the way they treat you. The way I'm literally talking right now is how I talk to her. And she's very receptive. At the end of the day, she still is not gonna, whatever. But I don't have to butter up anything I'm saying. And she's so sweet. And the girls from Kazakhstan, the girls from literally China, the girls from every other country, Buka, how are you? Oh, I missed you. Oh, the way they say your name, dude. The way they say their name. Yeah, I love your videos. They're very nice, very sweet. They're like, oh, I miss you. Very like, never, ever, ever. No matter how stern or direct I am with her, never, ever, ever has she come to any degree of how a girl will in 30 seconds be like, and we're this and we're that, or you ain't this and you ain't that. Never, ever, ever, ever. What she'll do is like just express how much him being with another woman has hurt her, and admit she admits that she's a very jealous type, admits her wrongdoings, and that she just personally can't accept it, and that and she can't forgive him, you know. And when she does that, I don't go on and keep attacking her. Instead, I say, yeah, well, you'll have to work on that. Then I change up my tune, because this is not a war. We're trying to get to a certain place, and that is to benefit her and benefit me, you know.
Yeah.
And what I mean by benefit, I mean like at the end of the day, we're we're humans. She has an issue, and I want to make sure she gets the best out of it. Anyways, I'm almost at the park to play soccer, so I really want to quickly say this about the Baltimore situation. So
Uh-huh.
there is an article, the news that came out that this boy was shot, and in the news, a lady said she warned the son's mom, and that she moved her son far away from Baltimore to Hagerstown, Maryland, because there were like school gangs or something that was bullying the kids. And then later on, the son gets shot. There's an Uzi involved, like the weapon. And so I want to just address that. And in the news, like literally news, they're saying that how there are so many single moms there. And then there is this group of men in Baltimore who I guess are the crime fighters, and they show up and they protest. They're like, and then literally in the newscast, they're like saying, yeah, these men are saying, we need to change, we need to do this. And this is the first time some of these boys have seen men, grown men like that in their presence. Okay, and then even the mayor or whatever came out. He said stuff, but it wasn't anything, because he hasn't done anything. He's just saying, a little filibuster and things. Anyways, to all of that, I think if we're gonna fix our issues in this country when it comes to single motherhood and whatnot, black people in the whole, like, as, how do you say this in English? We need to change like yesterday, in the sense of we need to stop voting democratically. We need to stop accepting Section 8. All food stamps, let it go. Food, you can, okay. Even with the weight gain, I'm going to use this as an analogy. A man should never always eat, like as in a man shouldn't want to sit here and eat till he's full. You should always eat to the point where you've eaten, but you're hungry. Because when you eat a lot and you get full, what happens? You want to sleep. But if you
Yeah.
just eat enough to where you're satisfied, or even just a little less, then you're hungry. And when somebody's hungry, their body, their mind wants to go accomplish and do something. So even when it comes to the weight gain and the weight whatever, we should let some of these so-called food stamps or whatnot go. We should stop. And I'm talking about weight, but I'm also not talking about weight. I'm talking about this symbolically. We should let these things that fill our bellies in the moment and make us go to sleep and domicile go and suffer a little bit. I forget who said this. Maybe like it's one of those Greek philosophers or whatever. I'll have to find it because it's one of my favorite sayings. He said that the best thing that you can wish for a child is for that child to be born into poverty. When you have a kid in money, that kid is going to get lulled to sleep. He's not going to be as aggressive and wanting. The issue isn't that our people aren't aggressive and wanting, it's that they're going in the wrong direction. And for them to go into the right direction, we need our men to be here. Because I'm telling you, if our men stay in the picture for one generation with the amount of hunger that our community naturally has, instead of lulling us to sleep, that our mothers are doing, um, and we had our men here to direct us in the right direction, man. Okay, for example, me as an example, my parents, they're still together. Both of them work two jobs, all my life. They got us from living in a house with 11 people with 2 rooms, 3 rooms, 2 bathrooms. It sounds big, but it is not big at all. This is Alabama. I know that kind of dynamic in the Maryland is a big house. And then my best friend was Section 8. We're literally the same age. 20 years later almost, because we've been best friends for 17 years now. Still Section 8. And now my family live in a mansion. And I'm thousands of miles away from doing well for myself. Still working 2 jobs. You see the difference? Whereas he was raised with his single mom. I tried to pull him out and he started making money left and right, but then he ended up being pulled back into that. And that's a whole different story. And then to end it all, I want to talk about a little bit about nurturing. Me and a very close friend of mine, her and I debate about nurturing, the concept of nurture. She said that women are naturally better nurturing than men. And I said, okay, then give me some of your points. Her points were basically, let me sum it up like this. Her points were basically like, women are better nurturers because they have breast milk. Literally, I am not lying to you.
Oh,
I was like so blown back. So I said, let me Google what nurturing means. Nurturing is basically to enhance. Oh, in fact, let me Google now. I have my other phone on me. Let me Google nurturing instead of describing it. Define nurture. Nurture means to care for and encourage the growth or development of. If women are better nurturers, then why are we having problems like this in Baltimore? Why are they nurturing them into a college degree? Why can't they nurture them outside of anything more than prison or Uzis or school gangs or teenage pregnancies? Men are better nurturers. Find any civilization or place where you see a strong population of men. The last time black people had men like that, we had the civil rights movement. Uh, what's the equivalent or what's the climax of our females leading? Black Lives Matter, the movement that now people call a scam. And what did Black Lives Matter do? Had us destroying Walmarts in our neighborhood. You know, so when we talk about words like nurturing, we need to be careful. It just took me 5 seconds to Google what that is. So I told her, hey, maybe you mean pandering. And so the reason why I'm talking about this is because pandering means to like appease or whatever. So the reason why I brought up that nurturing concept is we need to eat just enough to where we're hungry and we're satisfied. Not, and I mean this also like just because of the weight issue we have in America, but also symbolically. So not just eat to the point where we're lulled to sleep. We need to have our men in the situation. And and I forgot before we turned on the live, I was saying that my dad's only gave me a handshake maybe 3 times. I know 2 for sure. And you were saying that if your dad hugged you, I mean, if you try to hug your dad, he'd probably hug you, right? Um, you That's what you said. And
yeah,
hmm?
yeah, probably so.
Yeah, he'd probably try to hug you. My dad would hug me. My dad would say, "I love you." but he's a man, not a woman. The way a man loves and nurtures looks a lot different than the way a woman loves and nurtures. And so that's the whole point of it. And then the last thing I said before we turn on this live was that even if the man was in the environment, is the lady even prepared to see a man actually raise children? Is she ready to see him whip the children? To be, hey, what are you doing? To the children. I have a little brother. He's 15 years younger than me. My little brother called me last night. We play video games. When he got on the phone, you know what he said? He said, "Good evening, sir." Sa. My little brother doesn't call me Buka. He calls me sir. You know who I call sir in my life? My dad. I never called my dad by his name. His name is Sa, not John, not Honora, not Ozobi. Ozobi, actually, I can call him because that's his title name. That's another story. But that's actually his title. So that would like be me calling him like President Obama, Hello, President. So my brother calls me Sa. And we're playing video games. We're playing video games, right? And my grandma comes in and she says, "Hey, don't you have school tomorrow?" Because they're in a different state. That's what she says to my little brother. And my little brother says, "Yeah, I do." And she said, "Tell Buka, ask Buka, doesn't he have work tomorrow?" I heard all that. But so then after my grandma leaves, I'm like, "Chuma, aren't you going to turn off the game? I thought grandma told you to turn off the game." He was like, "Yeah, she did." I was like, "Well, turn off the game. I'll see you later." And then also in the future, I don't want my brother to associate me with playing video games or anything like that. So I actually have to actively work on keeping there a difference in it. I don't want to appease I don't want my brother to feel happy with me and stuff like that. I want him to be, in a lack of better words, in a constant state of fear. That way when I say, "Hey, this is not good," or I call his name, Chuma, he listens, you know? It's not somebody that you go and climb on top of. For example, Mike Tyson actually said something like this. Mike Tyson has a younger son, right? He's like 16. He said that his son went to wrestle with him, and he told him get off of him. He wouldn't even let him like get, because when a boy wrestles with you and feels like he can maybe challenge you, then he thinks he's better than you. Then he starts to grow wings and start to get wild. These are concepts that women just don't know because they're women, they're not men. Women were built to want to be social. Men were built. That's another conversation. That's another conversation. But at the end of the day, I think that's the end of the live for me because soccer is there, and I've literally talked about every point I think we should talk about. But I hope all these points were can be useful to somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, and you guys, we're gonna do a live stream tomorrow at 8, talking about uh religiosity and black people across the diaspora. So hopefully that'll be a nice live.
I might be like 10 minutes late to it because
That's
because soccer, unfortunately, black people, I mean African people are literally on African time. We're supposed to show up here at 6:30, but it's 7:06, and then we play for an hour. But I will be there though. I will be there. Uh, you
okay.
know, and I'm excited to be there because that topic is very interesting. It's very interesting. I'm so excited. It's a shame that last time we were having so many service issues. You know.
Yeah, but it's better. It's good that we did have iron. At least at me, I ironed a lot of stuff out. Hopefully, so
Yeah.
we don't have issues.
Yeah. We spent the. That's actually why we started the live because he called me so we can try to do all of our technical troubleshooting beforehand today. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, Buka. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. You know.
All right.
Have a good day.
All right, you too. All right, so you guys, we're gonna do a live tomorrow. Stay tuned. It'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And shout out to the viewers that we have out here now. And we'll keep in touch.